PMD Tea Buyers Club. I am your host, Dhananjay Silva. Today is episode 44. We're in the rhythm. Every week we're getting one out. I told you I was going to turn up even if my eyes bleed. First time ever on the show, we're tasting some Darjeelings. I met Vishal from Jayashree last year over in Anuga. He sent me over some tea samples and I've been meaning to taste these for some time, and finally the time has come. I've got the time now to taste these teas. So what are these? These are Darjeeling teas, guys. Darjeeling is a growing region in India. It's one of the oldest growing regions. Tea was first grown in Darjeeling by the British planters. A lot of the estates that you'll see the factories you'll see are established around 1924, in the 1920s. That's the kind of era of the modern tea factory. But a lot of them have been around since the 1800s, mid-1800s, and in fact Darjeeling and Assam were growing teas long before Sri Lanka was. So Sri Lanka was growing coffee, these guys were growing teas, so they really know what they're doing and what they're about. Darjeeling teas are known as the champagne of tea. So what I've got here is I've got some autumnal flush teas. You pick Darjeeling teas 4 times in the year, and these are the last pickings of 2015. So this isn't the flush that we'll be going for. We're looking more for a second flush which comes in June. But it's a nice way to plan and see, look, what kind of flavors are you getting from the autumn flushes to what we'll be getting in April with the first flush, and then what we'll be getting again in June time, which is the second flush. The first flushes are the most prized. These are the ones where the bush shuts down over the winter period, and the flavor really matures in that leaf. It's the same, what you get on the western quality season in Sri Lanka with a lack of water is what you're getting with temperature in Darjeeling. The temperatures are dropping, the bush shuts down. To stay alive, it's producing oils. Same sort of story as you have with Sri Lankan teas. And in those leaves, you're getting these very volatile oils, which is what you're tasting in the first flush teas. Now, in terms of leaf appearance, it looks very different. If you look at these teas here, they're very black in color, very, very black in color, whereas the first flush teas have almost a green hue to the actual leaf itself. So the first estate that I've got here is Sungama. I've got two samples from Sungama, one from Singbuli and one from Rishihat. So if we look at the first leaf, and they're all SFTG FOP teas, which stands for Superfine Tippy Golden Flowery Orange Pecco. So the Indians grade their teas in a little different way to our Sri Lankans. So here's the first leaf. Let's have a little smell of it. You're getting that typical Darjeeling muscatel flavor, and by muscatel, what do I mean? It's a very gravy flavor. It's typical of Darjeeling teas. If you ever tasted Darjeeling, this is what you're getting. So if I zoom this in, this is the leaf here. Not a bad looking leaf, very black in color, lacking that green characteristic that you notice in the second flush or in the first flushes. So let me get this one back in here. This packet, unfortunately, is opening up. Pretty cold today, hence why I'm in my PMD jacket. Hope everyone likes it. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to have one of these jackets, also mail me. Maybe we can look at getting you out one. Looking at the second sample of Sungama, I think this leaf looks a lot better. It's a lot more even. The other leaf didn't look as even. This is much better graded. Little brown particles in here as well. There's a little openness to the leaf as well. But in terms of grading, this one is a lot better than the other one. Let's have a look at Singbuli estate. Singbuli, let's see what their leaf appearance is looking like. Similar to the Sungama one, the second Sungama, much better grading system. It's a lot more even. Again, typical muscatel Darjeeling flavor coming out. Let me show you this one. So if you look at this leaf, lot better, much better graded, but there can be improvements in this grading. There's a little bit of stalk, a little bit of uneven pieces sitting in this tea, and I think that you could improve the leaf selection there. Final one is Rishihat. Let's have a look at this leaf. Probably the best leaf out of all of them in terms of grading, but there are some brown particles to the leaf as well. A little bit of stalk. Actually no, I would say in terms of leaf appearance, Singbuli certainly takes the prize on leaf appearance today. Rishihat, little uneven when you actually come to think about it. when you slowly open it up. A lot of brown particles, a lot of open and flaky, a little stalk in there as well, like that. So, on the whole, leaf appearance doesn't really strike you as, hey, this is what it's about. But let's have a look at the actual infusions themselves and give it a smell. Let's have a look at this first single here. Wonderful infusion, wonderful, wonderful infusion. You're getting that grapey muscatel note coming out of it. Almost like raisins. Like, you know when you were a kid, what were those small raisin packets called? You know, the purple ones with the lady standing on them? With the rainbow behind it? That's what it reminds me of. When you open up a raisin packet. Let's have a look at the second one. Now this one has that nice green hue to it. This one is lacking a bit of the greenness, but it's got that coppery note to it. And look at this. Both from Singly Estate, completely different noses. This one is much, much more pungent. There's almost a sort of apricot, grapey muscatel note to this one, whereas this one completely lacks the apricot smell. It's almost one-dimensional. This one, there's 3 or 4 fruity flavors coming out. These are typical Darjeeling smells. I think in terms of Darjeeling aroma, or in terms of any aroma of any tea that I've ever had, the tea that must take it, and I'm saddened by this, I don't know which tea it was. My good friend Manu Singh, when he came back from India, brought me a sample of Darjeeling tea. Not even he knows what tea he bought me, but it is by far the best Darjeeling tea, if not one of the best teas I've ever smelled. I remember the guy brewing it up in the kitchen, and the entire kitchen smelled like a florist. It was that aromatic, no flavouring, seasonal tea. It was a second flush seasonal tea. The entire kitchen, when he lifted the lid on the pot, smelled like a florist. So second flush teas, well made from Darjeeling, smell like that. These ones, of course, are autumn flush, so you're not going to get that smell. Again, on this one, on the Singly, very similar nose. Very similar nose to this Sungama here. Actually, I think this Sungama beats it on nose. You're getting that muscatel flavour, raisin, apricot. Almost a datey smell, actually. I think probably this one has much more of a datey smell, you know. And then the final one, which is the Rishi Hut. Big nose, big nose. Again, same 3 flavours. Muscatel, date, bit of plum, very aromatic, very aromatic, and it's quite interesting to see this from the Darjeelings, because I think it's something that we've lacked from the Ceylons. We've done so many Ceylons that we've lacked getting, you know, an actual nose coming out of the infusion, and I think that's something any of the Sri Lankan tea planters who are watching should concentrate and should focus on, because tea is something you need to appreciate on all 3 senses. And I think in terms of nose, the Darjeelings today are in a class of their own. Let's actually have a look at the actual cups themselves. The first Singly is light in character, typical of a Darjeeling. These aren't the kinds of teas, guys, because Darjeeling tea is grown at a very high elevation. These aren't the teas you want to whack in with milk. If you're looking to add milk to a tea, I would go with a low-grown Ceylon or with an Assam tea. These are not the kind of teas you want to put milk into, because they don't have the body to it. Let's give this first tea a taste. It's lacking in a bit of flavour. There's not really anything in the cup. It's very thin on the palate. Very thin on the palate. Nothing there. Pretty disappointing, actually. It's very flat. Let's have a go at the second one. Same estate, lot thicker. If I bring that cup over, have a look at that cup, guys. If I bring that over, you can see the same estate, 2 different cup colours. This is the first one that I just tasted and said that was quite, you know, flat. And this is the second one that I'm about to taste. Look at the difference in the cup colours, even though they're from the same estate. A lot more flavour to it. Typical muscatel note that encases your tongue. Getting a nice grapey taste, but there's a little sourness to it as well in the mid palate. A little sourness, almost like when you're having a satsuma and you bite in and you find like a bit of a sour citrusy fruit. That's how that tastes. Let's have a look at the third tea. Now, in terms of body, this is darker. In fact, funnily enough, the bodies are getting darker as we're going up. That's the best tea so far. Muscatel flavour again, but mid to back palate, you're getting date, you're getting plum, you're getting a whole host of flavours going right across your palate. It's not one-dimensional like this, and it's not flat like that one. A lot of flavour going on in here. That's quite a nice tea. Let's have a look at the final one, which is the Rishihat. Again, darker body. Very, very bitter note. Very bitter. It has the body, but the flavour is always too developed, too overpronounced. There's a very harsh, bitter flavour coming out of this, and it really isn't too appealing. What can I say about these teas? It was interesting to get an eye shot. This isn't Darjeeling though. Real Darjeelings will start in the next 4 to 6 months. This is the back end of 2015 where these teas have been picked. And they've been sitting around over in Calcutta for some time as well, hence why you're going to find a bit of flatness in teas like this. It's a nice little eye-opener. It's nice to be able to tune your palate back into tasting Darjeelings, but I'm looking forward to tasting the first flushes and most importantly the second flushes. I'm going out there this year to India to go and have a look at some of the estates. So it'll be interesting to go in and actually taste some of these teas and to be on estates and see, what are the agricultural practices they're doing, what differences are there in their manufacture to what we do in Sri Lanka. So it'll be an interesting exercise for us. My pick of the teas today is going to be the Singbuli here. This is going to be my pick. I think in third I'm going to go with the Sunguma. Fourth is the Rishihat. Third, sorry, is the Rishihat. And then finally is the Singbuli down here because it's flat. I don't think that's a true representation of the estates, but it is a representation of what is out on the market during the autumn season. Guys, tune in to next week's show. We're going to be tasting, I don't even know what the hell we're going to be tasting, so I'm not even going to lie to you. I might even shoot another show this week because we need to get hold of some more Western quality teas, not Western quality teas, Western teas to fill up for a client, so I might film that. If not, have a great week. Drop in your comment section below what you're up to. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. I'm off to see a client right now. I hope you have a good week. Thanks for watching.